How's it going, YouTube? Yeah, Pat Mac here, coach of the Sacramento SANDSLASH, bring you our draft analysis for Season 6 of the NCP, the National Competitive Pokemon Hub. Looking forward to this season. There's a lot of really great coaches, and I'm super excited about our team. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to use. There's a handful of Pokemon I've used before, there's a handful of Pokemon I haven't used before, and I'm really looking forward to giving it a go this season. Handful of things about the draft in terms of like our position and points and all that kind of stuff. We were number 16 to pick out of 16 coaches, so at the very end, having the wheel at the end of a draft is actually one of my favorite spots. I think it's a lot of fun to have that spot. There's a lot of time between picks, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't know. It's fine, I guess, in the end. But there's just a long time to wait. The nice part about it, though, is that you get to pick really cool combos. So having a yeah, I mean, it just works out in terms of like, I want this mon to work with this mon, and so I'm able to kind of grab them both at the same time, which I think is a nice bonus from having a spot like that. Kind of one downside though is that, like, I mean, you're at the end, you know, so you're kind of picking whatever falls to you. But there were some really crazy Pokemon allowed in this draft. So, like, for example, somebody had Landorus Incarnate. Pokemon's absolutely nuts. Another person has Zamazenta Crowned. Really cool. I'm really excited to see how they use it this season. So there's all sorts of like interesting and opportunities for teams this season. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how the different coaches in the team in the season do, as well as my own. Right? I think I have a really cool team. We're looking forward to use it. So anyway, I've rambled enough. Oh wait, hold on. I haven't told you about the points yet. There's 120 points. To pick 10 or 11 mons. So like crazy budget. You can pick a lot of different Pokemon, with the highest point value being 19. So just to give you an idea about that. Yeah, so a lot of points to pick Pokemon. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about my draft. So there's my first two picks, round 1 and 2. Back to back here, CELESTEELA, LANDORUS-T. Very excited to grab these two together. I have used them in the past. This exact combination might have been my exact first two picks in my team that was about a year ago from now, crazy enough. First league I ever recorded, I used CELESTEELA and LANDORUS-T. Wow, that's nuts to think about. First league I ever recorded about a year ago, and this is the first two picks I had then. Who knows, maybe a year from now, when I'm drafting a team, I grab CELESTEELA and LANDORUS-T again. Yeah, so I mean, obviously the Pokemon work really well together. CELESTEELA's weaknesses being to like fire and electric, and Landorus covers those really nicely. Yeah, I mean, just in terms of like how they threaten them, each other's like issues, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I like the Pokemon together. That's what I'm trying to say. I think they're really cool. So this, obviously Landorus gives me rocks at the beginning, as well as yeah, I mean, just having like two really strong setup threats and two really strong defensive options. So I really like having the two of these Pokemon together. I've used LANDORUS-T a couple of times now, and my favorite season I've ever used him was in BBL, season 8, whatever the latest one was from the time I'm recording this. I think it was season 8. And yeah, I really liked using it that season because I was able to run so many different sets. Like I brought it defensive, I brought it offensive, I brought it setup, I brought it. Yeah, I mean, I just brought it in a lot of different ways. So I'm excited to use LANDORUS-T again, just because I've had the opportunity to explore it in a lot of different roles. Now, CELESTEELA I haven't really explored in many different roles. I think the last time I drafted it was in that first league I did on Wi-Fi, which legit was like my second singles league I think ever. Yeah, so it's a Pokemon. I think I only used it defensive that season, which is like kind of a bit of a letdown. I feel like I really could have used it in other ways during that season. So I mean, I have it this time, and I feel like I'm a better player than I was about a year ago. So I mean, we're gonna try different sets. We're gonna try to see if defensive works, if offensive works, if setup works, if whatever, you know. It has so many different options, and I really did not explore it during that season. So that's something that like I'm definitely considering as I go through and play this season. Just in terms of stats, you can see them there. CELESTEELA is super well-rounded. Landorus is super well-rounded, so like nothing too crazy about that other than just these Pokemon are these are two good Pokemon. Like that's why they were kind of picked back to back for me, because I just thought they were good and they pair really nicely together. And now on round 3 and 4, this is where I added a little bit of spice. Lucario is probably not a Pokemon you're used to seeing picked this early in the draft, and legit my reason for picking it was I wanted to use it. That's it. Like I just wanted to use this Pokemon, and I have had so many seasons where I've wanted to use it, and I always talk myself out of picking it in later rounds because I'm like, it just doesn't fit. Like I don't think I can make it work on the team and whatever, you know? And I just like, nah, screw it. Like I want to use this Pokemon. I'm picking it up early, and we're going to make it fit. And I think we did. You know, I think it fits here totally well. Obviously, it's kind of hard to tell if it fits now, and it probably really doesn't, right? Like you look at this and go like double steel types without rocks. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine. I'm really excited to use it, and so that's probably the biggest kind of thing you noticed when you looked at this and went, "Whoa, Lucario! Now are you crazy?" And I'm like, yes, I am crazy excited to use this Pokemon. Milotic is the other one I grabbed right now too. And actually, I realized this as I was prepping for recording here. Not even when I was drafting the team necessarily, but if you were to replace, if you replace Landorus with Garchomp, basically ground type for ground type, that's my thought process here, then Celesteela Garchomp Milotic is the exact same core that I used in a VGC league a couple of seasons ago. So I mean, I'm pretty excited for that, you know, like just in terms of like, I mean, I did really well that season, made it to playoffs, and I think I got knocked out in the first or second round. I don't know. It was a lot of fun using it that season though. So I'm able to use these Pokemon again, and that's pretty exciting. And so like, obviously that combination worked really well. Slightly different reasons for VGC. But honestly, I think they still work here pretty well. So Milotic, great defensive option. Lucario, I think a great offensive option. And I'm excited to use these Pokemon for the season. But yeah, Lucario, hell excited to pick that Mon. I think I'd been so Brave helps me out with draft planning a lot. And when I was talking to him about my plan, like Lucario was like a Pokemon that I wanted, but I was like looking at other options right here. I don't even remember what they were at this point. But yeah, I just decided like I'm gonna get this Pokemon because I want to use it. So I'm just gonna get it now so I don't talk myself out of it. And so here it is. In rounds 5 and 6, I decided to go for WEEZING-G and Raikou. Now, based on the first 4 picks I'd made so far, I was a little light on speed. So that was definitely something I was thinking about when I grabbed Raikou. I wanted to kind of stretch my speed tiers a little bit higher. And it's something I've noticed that I do quite a bit when I draft, is I tend to draft a little more in terms of bulk rather than speed. And I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but it happened for here, and so I wanted to make sure I grabbed something that was a little bit faster, a little bit earlier on, and Raikou was there as an option. So I'm excited to use this Pokemon. And actually, that season that I was talking about, where I had Celesteela Landorus, I also had Raikou on that team too, funny enough. Yeah, so 3 Pokemon returning from a year ago, and have an opportunity to use them again. And then Galarian Weezing I've never used before, but I think this Pokemon is super cool. Obviously, like the attack and special attack you can see from the stats are very close, so can be a mixed attacker. It's pretty slow, so like running a minus nature on speed isn't a terrible idea, because then you just use both the offensive options pretty well. Really good physically defensive wall. And I kind of like this just in terms of like physically defensive and specially defensive in terms of how it pairs with Milotic, right? Milotic has great Spidef. Weezing has great Fizdef. So like I thought those were kind of a nice combination of Mons here. Weezing is kind of nice because it does give me Toxic Spikes, as well as having Levitate. So it's kind of reducing its weaknesses, right? That poison type that's able to Levitate has that option. But then there's also like Neutralizing Gas, which is a good option as well. So I'm pretty excited about these 2 Pokemon. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I kind of liked how they paired along with how our team was looking at the moment. Going in round 7 and 8, one thing I was thinking about here for drafting Druddigon, I think if I remember correctly, my team was a little weak to fire. sounds right. It was one of the thought process behind getting like a defensive dragon like this. I think Milotic was probably like my only fire resist. Yeah, it was only my fire resist. And I like, obviously I need to grab a grass type, right? So I was gonna have another fire weakness. So getting a defensive dragon like Druddigan I thought was a pretty good idea. Although look at that attack stat. Its highest stat is its attack. But I think of it as a defensive mon. Who knows? Maybe I'll bring it offensive one week. And just go nuts. I think that'd be a lot of fun actually. But yeah, like really good defenses, good defense, good special defense. What's the ability? Oh, rough skin, right? So that's kind of a nice option for us to kind of counteract a lot of the kind of momentum plays that teams tend to play, especially on like a high power draft like this. Like that's gonna be out there. So yeah, rough skin to kind of punish things. Gives me another stealth rock setter, which was another consideration here. At the moment, I think LANDORUS-T was my only rock setter, so getting Dread again gives me rocks in another form, which is good to have. I think it's a good option, just to have multiple like hazard setters. And yeah, Serena I'm super excited to use. I'd been wanting to try this Pokemon for a little while now, and I think every time I'd wanted to draft it, someone like grabbed it like a round or two before I had planned on getting it. So I'm glad it fell here. I think the Pokemon is really cool. You can just see from like a stat wise, like defensive and special defense like are pretty high up there, and then like that HP is a pretty solid number too. And then of course that attack stat also. Woo-wee. You got 120 attack on Druddigan and Serena. We got some offensive firepower right here. And actually one thing I kind of like here is like just from an overall team standpoint at this time, Celesteela, good mixed attacker. Lucario, really good mixed attacker. Weezing, I think I said, was kind of like a defensive mon, but has mixed options. And then you go into like my physical attackers, LANDORUS-T, and then now we add Druddigan and Serena. Whereas before it was really kind of LANDORUS-T was the main physically offensive threat. Now we've added a couple other, and I think it's good to have a mix there. And then kind of looking at it from the other side, special offense was Celesteela, or not Celesteela, because that's mixed, Milotic and Raikou. So we add a little bit more physical offense to our team so that we can kind of threaten Pokemon with our walls as well as with our kind of main breakers. Yeah, so pretty excited to grab these two. Of course, Serena also gives Rapid Spin, which is definitely something to kind of keep in mind. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think the team is looking really good so far. I had a lot of fun drafting up to this point. I remember right here when I drafted these two Pokemon, I like thought about how I wanted to draft like the rest of this team for quite a while. Like I remember I had like 5 or 6 different plans after the Raikou pick, and it was kind of like where do I want to go with this, you know? I had my eye on like a fire type, I think, being pretty important to this team, because I just felt like the team was weak to fire types in general, and so I wanted to have some more mons there. Druddigan had been on like several different lists, and so that's kind of like how I decided to grab that Pokemon here. And then I think Serena was on a couple different of my different draft plans that I was playing around with at this point, and so I ended up going for Serena for kind of that same reason. Was like it gave me the flexibility to like point wise and like typing wise to fit with what I had on the team already, as well as what kind of fit into like several different draft plans that I was playing around with. And I mean this next pick, these next 2 picks are like really where I cemented in, but like I had, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 different options in terms of like what I wanted to go with here, because I forget I had maybe I can check real quick. I had 22 points going into this last round, and you know, for like 3 picks with 22 points and 2 picks, right? Like I could have gone to 10 or 11. Spoiler, to go 11, so you'll see a couple more slides here. But yeah, I had 2 or 3 picks here, 22 points, and like that's a lot of options and things to play around with. And so I went through a handful of different options. I was very undecided. And then I found this option, BLAGEPHALON and KANGASKHAN. I went, damn, this looks hella cool. Like I think I mentioned about like my physical offense being pretty high. Or I had like maybe I could just think in terms of number of physical attackers, right? I think I mentioned I had 3 of them, right? And now I have like 3 special attackers, right? And like a crazy good special attacker. So like almost like BLAGEPHALON and LANDORUS-T being like the pinnacles of my physical and special offense on this team. So I mean, BLAGEPHALON I kind of stumbled across because I was really looking at other options, and yeah, I landed here, and oh god, I am so excited to use this Pokemon. It gave me more speed, which was one thing that I think I really liked about this Mon. And then it's just some really, I mean, this is just a sweeper, right? Like if you get a flame charge up on this thing and then just like Shadow Ball or Flamethrower, like you could just cut through a team like crazy. And I remember prepping against this Mon and thinking like, how do you switch in on this thing? This is insane. It does so much damage. And obviously Beast Boost, yeah, I mean, Beast Boost and Moxie are just absolutely nuts. And we have 2 of them on this team, right? We have 2 Beast Boosters with CELESTEELA and with BLAGEPHALON. So another piece of like high and heavy offensive firepower for this team. Super exciting. Kangaskhan, I mean, oh god, Kangaskhan fits so nicely on this team too. I was really excited to grab this one also. I'd been looking at wanting a normal type just because of how many points are available to the different coaches. There's going to be like really powerful ghost types on teams, and you just got to be able to deal with them. So Kangaskhan was definitely like, or a normal type, like a defensive normal type, was pretty high on that list in terms of something I wanted. And Kangaskhan gives us Wish. You know, like a lot of the Pokemon that we have on this team that can function as defensive walls don't necessarily have their own recovery. So having Wish on BLAGEPHALON, or not BLAGEPHALON, Wish on BLAGEPHALON, that would be so useless. I would never click that button. But Wish on Kangaskhan is really nice, especially with that really sky-high 105 HP stat. And then, like, not to mention, like, 95 is a pretty respectable attack stat, too. So definitely not a Pokemon that's just going to kind of sit there and allow a team to set up on you. So, yeah, the 2 of these Pokemon I was pretty excited to grab. And the next one, oh my god, the next one, I am so excited about this Pokemon. I don't think I have ever seen anyone use this in singles, and which was like part of the reason like why I wanted to use it, and that's Malamar. I have never seen anyone use this Pokemon in singles. I don't even think I've seen anyone use it in VGC. You know, like this Pokemon does not seem to get any love, and I just want to try it. You know, like maybe it's not getting any love because it's not very good. I don't know, but I really wanted to use it. And I know with like Contrary, Superpower Contrary is obviously like it. Yeah, I mean it's obvious, you know. But I think it has some other options, and I'm gonna have some fun playing around with it this season to use for the team. And one thing I want to point out about this team that is very exciting. So my server TGR, I have a couple of mods there who like are absolutely fantastic. They do such a great job of helping me with keeping the leagues flowing and to keeping engagement going and all that kinds of stuff. And they're just absolutely fantastic. And MILOTIG is Brave's mascot, and Malamar is Fiac's mascot. So I was pretty excited to grab both those Pokemon to pair in this season. And to use them, you know, like a little shout out to my mods who helped me out with running that league. So both Malamar and MILOTIG, two of their favorite Pokemon. So really excited to use this Mon. Yeah, I mean that's the whole team at this point. You know, like that's all 11 and all their glory. And this is going to be a really fun team to use. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. I always love hearing people's different thoughts about them, what they like, what they don't like, all that kind of stuff. You know, I'm here for it. And I don't take offense to any of it. So if you don't like it, like, just let me know, you know, because I think one of the things that is important about playing is one, to enjoy it, you know, for the first part. And the second is like to have an open mind and be willing to hear criticism and critiques, because that's just one of the ways that we grow and become better as people, as players, as everything, you know. So yeah, let me know what you think of the team in the comments, what you like, what you don't like about it, and if you'd want to see some more of the team in action, you know, definitely stick around, like, subscribe, and all that stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.